Have you been a person that's traveled a little bit? Maybe you've traveled a lot. You have stories to tell, right? Like when you were going somewhere, you have some story to tell. I certainly do. And I'm excited to be participating in Footprints Around the World. And we're here with Ewa Krempa today, where we're going to be talking about how you also can participate in this book. Before we get started, I'll just share just a little bit about me. I am the founder and CEO of Action Takers Publishing, and we're honored to bring this book to the world to inspire and motivate people to share their stories about travel and to encourage others to get out there and travel some so that they can see what the world is all about. So with that said, I'm going to throw it on over to Ewa Krempa. Ewa is the curator of this book, and she's going to share with us, like, first of all, why she decided to put together this book and what we're looking for as far as the stories go for participating in this book. So listen in. This is going to be awesome. Ewa, it's all to you, girl.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lynda. It's a pleasure to be here with you once again. And thank you so much for this opportunity. I am super excited to be able to put this book together, The Footprints Around the World, Uplifting Stories of Adventure. And why? Why? Because travel actually has been a big part of my life for majority of my life. And let's go back a little bit. So my first flight ever was in 1993. Yes, a while back. And I think that's what kind of when it sparked it. I'm originally born and raised in Europe and moved to Canada. Now, throughout my life, I've traveled to a lot of beautiful places. And that first flight, second one, third, really got me hooked on traveling. And it wasn't so much, going on the plane. It was all about seeing the new cultures, meeting people from all different backgrounds, but it goes so much more than that because you're stepping into a different country. You're not quite sure what to expect sometimes. So you have to really grow into this courage, into this resilience, into all these things. And then they shape you as a person because, yeah, you have to watch out for yourself. You have to watch out what you're doing. I mean, at the beginning, I traveled with my parents, family, and so on. But then I got to do a lot of solo traveling as well and group traveling and traveling around the world. So I've done a lot of different kinds of travel. Now, it teaches you a lot about yourself. It teaches you a lot about others. And it's just a beautiful experience. I mean, I know some people who don't travel a lot, and that's fine. But I know a lot of people who do. And the stories they share, the experiences, it is so fulfilling. And it is so amazing to listen to. So I love it because we can learn from one another. The experience you had will help somebody else and so on. I remember one time I was traveling somewhere and this person told me about this app. It was called Maps Me. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll check it out. And you know what? That app saved me a few years later when I had to go somewhere where there was no Wi-Fi, no connection, but that app actually got me to my hotel safe and sound because it was the only thing at that time that I had at my fingertips to help me to get around. So I used that app ever since to get me around in places that are hard with the Wi-Fi and so on, because I guess it works on satellite or something like that. But anyways, bottom line is we learn from each other, from experiences we have, for stories we can tell. And going forward, I can tell my stories to future generations and my kid, and she hopefully inspires her to go out there, travel, explore, see the world. Yes, of course, there's a lot of things going on in the world. But for me, it doesn't stop me. Of course, I'm not going to go in the middle of a war zone, but I'm definitely going to research the places I go to, see if they're safe, and if it's a good place I want to go to or take my family to. So in a nutshell, we're looking for people who have stories they want to share with us, something that inspired them and uplifting at the same time. This way you get to, share your moments of that are truly amazing and uplifting to other people.
I love that, Evan. It's so true. Like as you were speaking, I was thinking of all the times that I've heard somebody talking about a place and how it made me think, ooh, I want to go there. Right. And I think that's what I see this book really doing is as you share your stories and you dive into what your experience was in that particular place, that this is going to paint the picture for somebody else and help them to decide, is this a place that I would like to go visit? And that's what I love about this particular book, because it's about traveling. It's about, again, painting that picture for others from your perspective, not a brochure, not a professional marketing company who has come together and spent millions of dollars to figure out how they're going to talk about their city, but from you, your experience, the true experiences that you had. Now, there may be some of the experiences that were very cautious. There may be some experiences that were like, careless, like just fly to the wind, And we want to hear those stories, because these are the stories that are going to, again, encourage, motivate, inspire people to take action to do that travel. Was there anything else you wanted to add, Eva, before I talk about what's next? Like if you decide you have a story to tell, you know what it is, what's the next step for you? Is there anything else you want to share before I go to that?
Honestly, I could talk about this all day because it is part of me. It's my passion. But what I want to say, I've wanted to write more about travel for over a decade now. And it somehow just wasn't coming about until the moment like this, and the previous books with Action Takers Publishing. And what I'm saying is, like, sometimes, the moment comes when you're ready to write something. And, when you get that inspired action, take it. I'm taking it. And I always wanted to write something, and it was a book, but it felt like it was just too much all at once. But doing a collaboration book kind of tells a little bit about, the fragment of your life, and then you can do another one later on. It doesn't have to be all at once. If you're not comfortable, basically take little steps if you have to, like I did. Write that first chapter in one book, go to the next one, and then you feel comfortable maybe sharing your full story, because I have like so many stories I want to tell. But I actually like this idea of the collaboration books because I get to do it over a stretch of time, right? And then
Right.
it will be like a legacy almost. And it's not as hard as it seemed. When I first went into it, I thought it was going to be so hard, and oh my goodness, how do I do it? But you know what? Action Takers made it so easy. We put the words on the paper, they edit everything, they give us insights how to make it better and things like that. So it's not as hard as I thought it would be. So thank you so much for that, Lynda, and your team. And then basically, if you feel inspired to do something, do it. Don't wait forever. You'll know when it's the right time too. You'll just like, yeah, I'm in. And that's all it takes sometimes. And then you never know what gates it opens for you beyond that. It's such an amazing experience to be able to go internationally and tell your story and reach a big audience, and just flow with it. It's easy.
Yeah, I love what you're saying there about, especially the piece of, I can write like one fragment or a segment of my life in a particular book. And that's one thing I love about the collaboration books too, is that it's not my whole story. It's just like this piece that pertains to that book. And so because there are so many different types of collaboration books out there, that you have an opportunity to say, you know what, I know this part of my story will fit in this book. And so I think it's a lot of fun that we're doing this and putting these books together. So let's do this. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to talk about collaboration books and why be part of this particular collaboration book mostly. And as you're going through and listening to what I have to share today, I want you to ask yourself this question: what story can I tell in this book? What's one of the many stories that I have about travel that I can share? Maybe you have 2 or 3 stories that you would really like to talk about, sharing maybe your first experience, like Eva shared her very first experience back in the 1990s. This is like back in the 1900s, her very first experience of traveling, of flying. And so maybe you want to share that, and then to what you're doing today. And maybe you're doing a lot of flying. Maybe you're not doing a lot of flying, but what is the experience that you've had through that travel, and how has it transformed your life? Like, what a different vision you're getting on life because of the travel. So I'm going to talk about that Footprints around the world, uplifting stories of adventure. We do want to hear your stories of adventure, what you have done in your life to, take those steps, take that journey of moving forward. So collaboration, why a collaboration book? Well, collaboration books add a lot of different dimensions other than doing a solo book. And as Eva mentioned, in a collaboration book, she could just sit down and write a short chapter. She could look at her life and say, this is a piece of my life that will fit well in this collaboration book. It's a lot easier than taking your whole life and trying to write a whole book around it. They say that 24% of the world ever writes a book, but only 3% ever publish. Well, we take care of that as Action Takers Publishing. We publish your story for you. So you don't have to worry about that. We take care of all those pieces. But the opportunities that come from being in a collaboration book. When Eva first, did the first book that she was in, she was a collaborator. She wrote a chapter in another book and then another book. And next thing you know, she's like, you know what? I want to put together my own collaboration book. And here we are today talking about her own collaboration book where she's bringing together the people. There's opportunities abound in collaboration because you're connected with like-minded people where everybody has having an opportunity to share their message with the world and in a themed book. And that's one of the things I really love about the collaboration books. The next is teamwork. We have the team is coming together. We're the leaders of the team. Eva and I are leading this team to get the book finished, published, marketed, and become a best-selling book. By becoming a best-selling book, that means you are now a best-selling author. This is our guarantee to you, which I'll share a little bit later, but this is our guarantee is that we help you to become a best-selling author. So if you've ever thought about, writing a book or being part of a book, wanting to become a best-selling author, then this is a great way to get started for sure. The next is cross-promotion, because every author in the book is a traveler that you have an opportunity to cross-promote with other travelers from around the world that are sharing their message, their story, and you can cross-promote them and them cross-promote you, get yourself in front of their audiences, you get them in front of your audiences. We also provide opportunities for you to get in front of our audiences as well. The next is you're being surrounded by like-minded people. These collaboration books, they're themed. And because it's a theme of travel, again, you're surrounded by other people who have traveled. Now you get to share your travel stories. Maybe you share your travel stories with your family and they're like, oh my gosh, again, another travel story. I don't want to hear that. But you get yourself around other travelers and they're like, oh my God, I did that one too. Or, oh, I want to do that. Tell me more. So you get to be surrounded by those like-minded people that love to hear your stories of travel as well as you hear their stories of travel. In a collaboration book, there's a division of labor. And what this means is that you write one chapter and then us as the publishing company, we do all the rest of the work. We do the proofreading, the editing, the formatting. We create marketing materials where you literally can just copy and paste these marketing materials on social media as well as in emails. The division of labor is that you do one aspect and we do the rest. So you don't have to worry about anything else. We got you covered. And then you have the community and the camaraderie, as I shared earlier, being surrounded by these like-minded people, these travelers. It gives you that opportunity to be surrounded by people who aren't tired of hearing your stories of all of your travels. Not that everybody has that, but I know that sometimes when I travel, people are like, oh, okay, I've heard enough now. So those aren't the people I want to be surrounded by. I want to be surrounded by people who really get it. And maybe we end up traveling somewhere together. How cool would that be, Eva? I could see her back there. She's saying, yes. Okay, so share just a little bit about me. I'm going to share a brief snippet about me. At 5 years old, I ran away and I was gone for an entire week. And what ended up happening is when I came home, I became riddled with fears and I became a people pleaser. I was scared to look people in the eyes for the next 46 years. My voice became stifled, and that left me feeling ignored and judged. Maybe you can relate to that as well. So something happened at 51 years old. I met a life coach, and my life coach helped me to see that I have value. I do have a reason for being on this planet. And I'm going to embark on a journey of figuring out what is that purpose and what is my value. Everything changed. Also at 51, I decided to do something a little bit crazy. I broke through one fear every day for an entire year. This shifted my whole life. This shifted who I am, how I started showing up in the world, and who I became. Who I am today is a person I always was, but I was always hidden because I was too scared to come out to share myself. Well, something happened is after I broke through those fears, I met somebody, a mentor, who was putting together a book called Footsteps of the Fearless. And he said, you're breaking through a fear every day this year. You should join this book, Footsteps of the Fearless. This is where everything started for me. It was a collaboration book. With that collaboration book, I ended up deciding, just like Ewa, to put together my own collaboration book. It was called Momentum, 13 Lessons from Action Takers Who Changed the World. The gentleman holding the book there, that's Don Green. He's the CEO of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. For those who don't know who Napoleon Hill is, he is the author of Think and Grow Rich, which is the entrepreneur's Bible. And this is what a great opportunity it was to connect with Don Green and to help me to create this forward for this book and get the message out there. That was my first collaboration book that I did. That led to these next two, The Fearless Entrepreneurs and Invisible No More, Invincible Forevermore. Those two books then launched in August of 2021. They both became #1 international best-selling books in under 5 hours. That was my moment of aha. Wow, I know what I'm doing. I'm damn good at it. And I absolutely love this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to become a book publisher. Up until that point, I was just doing it for fun. The 3 books, the Momentum and these 2 books, I was just doing them for fun. But then I decided to turn it into a business. And then that led to this. We published 25 #1 international best-selling books in the first 22 months of business. We published 433 authors. It's been an incredible journey, and it all started with the first collaboration book that I was in. The opportunities are abundant. You don't have to become a book publisher. You don't have to do anything that I'm doing, but this is my journey. This is how a collaboration book helped me to get out of my shell. It helped me to start showing up and sharing my voice. I discovered speaking. I discovered that I do have value. I do have a purpose. I do have worth. I have a reason to be here on this planet. And the books is one of the greatest ways that I have been able to do this, to help others to share their voice, help others to get on stage, because I know how transformational this was for me, that I want to provide this for other people, and I have the ability to do that. And it starts with these collaboration books. So one thing I want you to ask yourself today is, where do I want to be? Where do I want to be in a year? Where do I want to be in 5 years, maybe 10 years? I like to keep it to a year because a lot can happen in a year, and I never know where I'm going to be in 1 year because there's tremendous growth that is still happening within my own life. But where do you want to be? Do you want to be on a stage? Do you want to be hosting book signing events like Ewa does? She hosts a lot of book signing events. She gets people to show up for her book signings. She is just putting herself out there in so many different ways than she did before she was in a collaboration book. What do you need to do to get there? I'm sorry, who do you need to be in order to get there? Who do you need to be in order to get there? Do you need to be that person who is scared to show up? Or do you need to be that person who says, you know what? I have a story and I want to share it. And I want to get my story into the world because I want to inspire and motivate other people to travel. I want to inspire them because I know what it's done for me, and I want to help them do it for them. And then, who do I need to know to get there faster? Collaboration books are a great way to get your message out there faster in front of more audiences. Because you're surrounded with the other authors, you're getting into their sphere of influence as well as Action Takers Publishing's sphere of influence. That's how you can get there faster, is by getting yourself surrounded by like-minded people who are collaborating with each other, helping each other to get their messages into the world. But you got to go there. You got to go there. You got to take that action, just like Eva said, inspired action. If you're inspired to move into action, to start your author journey, if you've always wanted to be an author, but you didn't know what steps to take, a collaboration book is the greatest way to get started. Now, I myself was never a writer. I was never a reader. I wasn't interested in either of those, but my mentor suggested I be in a collaboration book, and that's why I said yes to that. If it weren't for him guiding me, I wouldn't have done it. I never would have become a published author, and I would never have become a 38 times #1 international best-selling author. It was not on my mind at all. But boy, am I glad I did it, because the doors that have opened through the opportunities that have come through collaboration books have been astronomical. So get started today. I'm going to share with you how you can get started, how you can join us in this book, Footprints Around the World, so that you can share your story of travel and motivate and inspire people to take action so that they can live that life of travel just like you're doing today. So one of the things, I'm going to just kind of recap what you get with being in this book, is that you share your author journey in a 3,000 word chapter. 3,000 words is about 4 to 5 pages, depending on how many paragraphs you've put in the book. But 4 to 5 pages, you sit down and you write your chapter. And then we have professional writing help for you. If you're feeling stumped or you've got that writer's block, you're not sure what to write, where to go with the story, we have professional help that will get on a call with you and talk about your story and help you to move forward. We have professional editing. You got just leave the editing to us. We'd like you to turn in a transcript, a manuscript that is somewhat edited, but it's not 100% required. We do the editing for you. We clean it up, make it sound good, and then what we do is we send it back to you for approval. We will not publish your chapter without you giving us approval. And that's very important for us, that you have given the approval for us to share it out there with the world. The marketing power. You're going to be highlighted and done for you marketing materials. We're going to create these materials and send them to you where you can literally just copy and paste. We want to make this process as fast, fun, and easy as possible for you. So we're providing the materials to make that happen. Community connection. I mentioned this several times. Being connected with like-minded people, other travelers, people who can appreciate the different lifestyle that you live by being someone who travels. You're going to gain access to a private community of authors, not just travelers, but also you'll be invited to participate in our events that we host once a month or twice a month for our authors across all of our books. You have an opportunity to meet other authors as well. And then visibility. By joining in a collaboration book, you are investing in yourself, investing in your opportunity to become more visible with your personal brand and message, sharing your stories, your journeys of travel. If you have a business that has nothing to do with travel, but you like to travel for your business, this is a great opportunity for you to share with people what you do and that you use travel as a conduit during that business. And then again, that visibility, interviewing opportunities on other people's platforms. We offer you the opportunity to interview with us on Action Takers Publishing. Plus, there are other opportunities to be interviewed. Eva has her own podcast, and we have other people who are our authors and other people outside of our authorship that also have their own interview opportunity platforms, and we give those opportunities to you. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you'll become a best-selling author. This is guaranteed, 100% guaranteed. We have 2 books that are launching in the next week, and both books are already #1 best-selling books. They will also become #1 international best-selling books. Our guarantee is that you will become a best-selling author or your money back. And then next, are you ready to publish your story and inspire others to take that action, to live a life of travel, or to just start maybe getting out and traveling just a little more than they already do? Then this book is definitely the one for you. Again, Action Takers Publishing is going to do all the work for you. You can go to actiontakerspublishing.com/footprints-author. That's footprints author. And then this is just a quick recap of what you're getting by being in this book. It's a 3,000 word chapter. We're going to provide writing assistance for you. We're going to provide the done for you marketing material, just copy and paste, visibility opportunities through interviews and other opportunities to become visible through our meetings that we host twice a month, opportunities to connect with other authors and collaborate with others as well. Many of our authors across all of our books have done collaborations with each other. So it's really cool that when you show up to these meetings, these opportunities to meet the other authors, that you can potentially connect with somebody that you're going to want to work with and do something with. This happens all the time with our authors. So we're super excited that we provide that opportunity as well. Again, go to actiontakerspublishing.com/footprintsauthor for all of the information. You can get started today for as low as $750. This is US dollars, and then plus 2 payments of $750, or you can pay in full for $2,000 and save $350. Again, go to actiontakerspublishing.com/footprintsauthor. Take advantage of this amazing opportunity to share your story of travel, of what you've done in the world to make a greater impact in your life and the life of others with you. Again, go to actiontakerspublishing.com/footprintsauthor and get started today as low as $750. And with that, Eva, I'm excited about this book because, again, as I mentioned earlier, it's this opportunity for me to dive into your world. What has it been like for you to travel? I've read stories of travel, but what is your story? I want to hear your story because it's completely different than anybody else's story out there. So you want to share anything, like any final words related to the book and why it would be a great idea for somebody to join up with us on this book? Oh, you're muted. I had to mute you. There was some background. There we go. You're unmuted now.
Wow, thank you so much. That is a beautiful introduction to everything and so many valuable insights you've shared. And yes, you get to benefit so much, not only from sharing your story, but it's inspiring others, personal growth, recognition, and community connections. I've met so many people just by doing the other books around the world that it's unbelievable, and the connections. And it actually inspired me to now do podcasts because I know so many people out there that want to share the story, and why not, do a podcast aside from the book. So I interview them, they get inspired to do so much more. It's not just, talking about travel. It's, you tell your story, you inspire somebody else to travel, see the world, and all of a sudden their life becomes much richer and fulfilling for them as well. So it's like a ripple effect in a way. And and I love it so much because we get to inspire one another, and this is another way to do it, through traveling. I've literally one time I just one time I was working, my boss is like, hey, you have a vacation coming up, where would you like to go? And I literally just spanned the globe, pointed at a destination, and I went to Peru. And she's like, where are you going? Did you even research that place? I'm like, yeah, I've always wanted to go, and I guess the time is now. And she's like, wow, you crazy, but in a good way. And within 2 days, I was on a plane to Peru, and I had such an amazing, story and adventure there. So many things, just everything just coming together, and so many new people. And every trip I go to, I meet somebody and I stay friends with them for years. Usually I make those connections all the time. So you never know who you're gonna meet, you never know where it's gonna take you. And that's the beauty about all this: connections, growth, opportunities all around. So I am so thrilled to be able to do this book and inspire more people.
I love how you just spun the globe and you're like, I'm going to go there. That is so cool. And I love that part of the story because, that gets to be incorporated into your chapter here in this book. And again, you might just inspire somebody to do that kind of thing too, right? Like it's inspired me to find a globe. I don't even have a globe, so I have to start there. But I guess I could just randomly ask ChatGPT, where should I travel? Just ask it and see where it comes up with. Exactly. But yeah. So this book is a great opportunity, again, to share your story, inspire others, just like Eva said. She's inspired me to think of a different way of traveling and getting my message out there. And hopefully it's done that for you as well. So join us again at actiontakerspublishing.com/footprintsauthor. If you have any questions, go on that page. There's a way for you to connect with us, to ask us any questions that you have. And we're here to provide as much information as we can for you to make an educated and empowered decision. We look forward to having you in this book to share your message and get out there, travel, and share your story. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much.